if you guys are close to losing 100 pounds or you've lost 100 pounds but have not been recognized, go to poundsclub.by.com and submit your story so that way you can be recognized for that amazing, amazing achievement. But guys, this next story, get your tissues, man. There's a special My Vi story that's going to be shared, and seriously, not a dry eye will be in the room, I can guarantee that. So Brenda Casamento?
Yeah.
Hey everybody, how are you doing tonight?
Awesome.
I just want to say this is like one of those things where you strive and strive. The closer you get, the harder it gets, because when you have the little amount of weight to lose to get across that goal line is extremely, extremely challenging. And I do know that over the last 2 months since I did my new Vi commit, it's what actually pushed me over. I changed a little bit in my training regimen. I am training for an Ironman this year. Adding the swimming into my Ironman training has been definitely something that has pushed me over something new. And I have to tell you, I absolutely hate to swim. Going to the beach and hanging out, totally different thing, but swimming is not my favorite, especially when you have to do it repetitively back and forth in a pool. So I'm learning to appreciate the fact that it's helping my body change, but also if I don't get my goal, I have to cut my hair chin. So I'm gonna get my goal, because I'm not ready to lose the hair yet. So it's pretty exciting. So what I wanna do is just share a little bit of my story with you guys. I've been with Vi for 5 years now. I'm a presidential director, and you know, when I first came across Vi, it was one of those things where I was at a point in my life where I owned traditional brick and mortar gyms, okay? So when you do that, a lot of times you have a lot of overhead, and I had a lot of employees, a lot of stress. My health was deteriorating rapidly. I am a cancer survivor now of 11 years. And what I do know about that is, as I was going through the process of the diagnosis, as well as the journey that all entailed, surgeries, I had stage 1 lymphoma. They caught it really early, but it was one of those things where you kind of wake up and smell the coffee, right? You make a new discovery that it's time to take care of yourself even more so. The great thing about it was that it made myself define who I am. That I knew I was a warrior, I knew I was a fighter, I knew that I could get through this journey, because it's a lot of mindset when you're dealing with that kind of diagnosis. You know, you go in for your doctor's visit, we'll give you a call in a couple days after we do the ultrasound, and then you get the letter in the mail and no worries, right? Well, I got a call the next day, and I went, and it started the whole process. And in that process, being a proud mom of 6 children, and at the time I was a single mom of 6 children, it was, okay, so now I have to do this. I have to get through it, because it wasn't about me, it was for them. And I started the process, and it was a very long year. I did a lot of my time sitting in a recliner. Now, mind you, I'm a personal trainer by trade and a nutritionist and wellness counselor. It's really hard to sit me still anytime. My team knows that. I'm always on the go, all hours of the day and night. And so that was very depressing, on top of the fact that you're dealing with this diagnosis. Had a great church family and friends. They would bring over food, but it was always cookies, breads, pasta dishes, right? So the healthy stuff. And so, you know, as I was going through that journey, I put on over 120 pounds. Wow. That's kind of hard to own a gym when you weigh 120 pounds. My pride and my ego kept me from walking in the door of my own business because I was ashamed. Not only was I ashamed, but I knew that through this experience, I knew what to do. I went to school for it. I've helped thousands and thousands of people lose weight. I've helped thousands and thousands of people get healthy. But when the shoe's on your foot, it becomes a whole new journey. So with that being said, I went through the process of doing what I knew I needed to do. In this picture, you can see the before picture. I was not at my heaviest, but pretty close. I was probably about a size 26 right there. And the after picture, a nice solid size 10. put on over 18 pounds of muscle with a challenge.
Woohoo!
So at this point, you know, I was at my church, and that's not an ice cream cone in my hand, you guys, it's a microphone. The old-fashioned kind, right? And, you know, looking at there, I was working with children in a group of children, and I was at a point where being bound to that recliner, coming out of recovery, I still wasn't getting it. I was still in the poor eating habits, trying to get back on track. And my defining moment, you guys, because we all have them, that's why you're sitting in this room, whether it was to make a choice to do this business or just get healthier, was I was in the living room in my recliner, and my almost 1-year-old needed me to reach down and get him, and my 14-year-old walked in the room, and he had to see me. I couldn't even bend over to pick up my own son because I was so obese. I couldn't bend over to tie my shoes. I had issues going to amusement parks because it wasn't comfortable. I couldn't fit in rides. And that was my line in the sand at that moment. A lot of times when you go through your journey, you know, those are my 6 kids when they were little. The little guy on the top is now 10. And, you know, they all stood through me through this whole journey and supported me. But I had to do a realization check because I needed to be there for them. You know, I look at where we're going with our health in this world and the foods that we eat, and we are the example to our children, you guys. When I look at those beautiful 6 children, I know that I have made a change for their better because I'm not that girl anymore. I was always busy. I was on the go. You can see in that picture, coffee in one hand, phone in the other. And at that point, I was probably down maybe around 40 pounds in my weight loss journey. And, you know, you have to stop and really take a moment to go, what's important to me? Because what I do know is what you believe in and you feed grows. We talk about that all the time. And what you starve dies. And you'll put time into something that is important to you. So ask yourself, how important is your health to you, to those around you that are counting on you every day? One of my franchises that I owned was the Curves location. I owned 8 of them, so I was very busy, always on the go, trying to be a product of the product like we talk about in this business. I would go in after hours to work out because of my ego and because of my shame of where I was at, but I did go in and work out. And I started the process. Then along came that defining moment. This is me at probably one of my heaviest points. That's actually not my son. I was babysitting somebody else's son. I would love to say that that's because of baby weight, but you know, it was one of those things that in that recliner moment, as I call it, I call these also my birthday pictures because I was just ashamed of myself. For all of you that have been in that position where you're overweight or not comfortable with your body, you hide from pictures. There was not very many that I could find in my before pictures, to be honest with you, because like everyone that you've heard in that testimony today, you hide from the camera. I hid behind my kids. I always bring my kids in front of me when I take family pictures, right? So in that process, the only journey that is impossible is the one that you don't begin. And the quote by Anthony Robbins, that has homed me so much because it was just making that decision. There are so many people, you guys, that you need to reach out and touch. I was looking for a solution. I was a nutritionist. I knew how to eat healthy. I thought I was eating healthy. I was not getting the nutrition that my body needed in order for me to get closer to my goals. Do you guys ever feel like you're on a weight loss roller coaster? Actually, that looks kind of fun because I'm like that daredevil kind of girl. I might actually do that. But being on a weight loss roller coaster, on my journey, I would go and lose 30, gain 20 back. I'd lose 50, gain 60. And it was just constant up and down, up and down. I mean, actually, guys, how many of you know that roller coaster? How many of you rode that ride? Look around you, keep your hands up. There's people that are on this roller coaster journey with you. And I'm here to tell you that there's a way out of that roller coaster journey, and it's Visalis. I was empowered. Thank you. I was empowered by one of my Crossline teammates who challenged me to do a 5K. I was the girl at gym class that did not want to run the 5K, 1 mile, any of that. I was walking around the gym instead of running, right? I see some hands. So you know what that feels like, right? Well, I also have a fear of being chased. So why not do a zombie run, right? I can solve two fears in one king caboodle. But the cool part about that, you guys, is that turned into a 5K, 10K, half marathon. There's my first half marathon with some of my teammates. And then I did a marathon. My first marathon was 2.5 years ago. This is the girl that never thought she would run for fun. There's me jumping over some fire in a warrior dash. That's when I was in the process of my weight loss journey. That was a 20K, and that was around this beautiful Lake Monona in the city of Madison, Wisconsin. And again, running the marathon. Now, you have to look at that face. I'm running. That's at mile 17, maybe. My face, that was like, I saw the photographer, I pulled out a smile from out of my back pocket because I was not happy at that point. Was not happy. This is another mud race that we did with some other teammates of mine. And, I think it was 48 degrees that day, rainy and cold, and we still did it. It was amazing, the Motorella down in Chicago. And this picture to me is one of the most empowering. These are my two daughters. They're both burn victims. And we were jumping over the fire together. And I cherish this picture because they were on a bigger journey than I have ever been, and watching them go through their struggles. But because of Isalis, we did this mud run together, and it was amazing and empowering. So that picture has more meaning than you can even begin to imagine. This is Hawaii. I ran the Hawaii Marathon. And for those of you that follow me, this is my friend Todd. He is blind. He's 59 years old. He has lost over 30 pounds with the challenge. And we run twice a week. And the thing with Todd is he takes away all my excuses. He is a definite accountability partner in my training. And I never knew, because of Isalis and sharing it at my church, he came up to me afterwards and said, I want to be a runner and I need to lose weight. Can you help me? Because of Isalis, he runs, and he's lost the weight. This is Las Vegas. This is my last marathon. My goal was to do it under 5 hours. I did it in 4 hours and 50 minutes, so I was super proud of that. And basically, you guys, being an example for your children means everything. But I want to ask you, how many of you have been bullied? How many of you have gotten to that point where maybe it was a toxic relationship? Maybe it was one of those points where you were in school. Middle school is brutal, right? I had all of that holding inside of me, and I never realized until 6 months ago that I needed healing more than just my body. I had to get my mindset right. Isalis at 90 days at a time. Every 90 days I set a new challenge. Every 90 days I moved closer to my goal. I never stopped. I never did not consecutively do a challenge. My kids watch that, and when you have a child, this is my 12-year-old daughter, and I don't know if you can read what's on that list. She was overnight at a friend's house, and I went to go feed her critter. It's a chinchilla. And this piece of paper was crumpled up on the floor, and I was gonna throw it away. His moms were nosy, I opened it up. And this is what I saw. I saw 10 things that she didn't like about herself. Look at the number 1. Number 1 says, I'm fat. Does that look fat to you? She's athletic. She's amazing. I'm ugly. I'm dumb. Look at those. Those words are just so disturbing. And as a parent, it was a defining moment for me to talk to her, to stop that right in its tracks. If you look at the picture on the top right, there's another list. When she came home the next day, she wasn't in trouble. I sat her down. And I gave her all the affirmations that I could about how much I loved her. Not only that, I told her I wanted to write a list, a new list. Because of the mentors in Isalis that have changed my life, because of the people that have reached out to me to get my mindset right, she made the new list of 10 things that she loved about herself. She reads it every day. It's right on her mirror next to her daily schedule. I don't know what she looks at. One of my biggest cheerleaders. That's one of our plank challenges that we were doing together. And, it just brought us that much closer. But think about it, if I hadn't caught that, God was definitely moving in that room that day to make me pick up that piece of paper, So many teenagers are cutting themselves, reaching out to things that are, substance abuse, just so many things that they don't need to reach out to get affirmations of who they are. What I want to ask you to do is grab your notebook, grab a piece of paper, pen, really quick. What's holding you back? What is holding you back from getting to your goal? What's holding you back from going to the next distance? You know what was holding me back? I was in a toxic marriage where I was called fat, I was called ugly, I was called a cow. I was told I would never amount to anything. Because of Visalis, I have proved that wrong. This is me closing down my business after 13 years because of Visalis. This is my parents no longer needing diabetic medication because of Visalis. This is me leading the world's largest flash mob because of Visalis. This is me hanging out with some awesome women that totally empowered me to believe in myself because of Visalis. This is me driving this BMW i8 because of Visalis. This is me with my husband in love with my life now, collecting our 100,000 check going across stage because of Visalis. This, you guys, is my daughter. Because of Neon, getting rid of her migraines, she has lost 53 pounds, which enabled her to enlist into the Army because of Visalis. I want you to look at that piece of paper that you have in your hand. Look at that piece of paper. Whatever you wrote down, whether you were the bullier or the one being bullied, I want you to know, take that piece of paper, rip it up, cross it out, and throw it away, because you don't have to have those limiting beliefs. You can do this. I believe in you. Visalis believes in you. You can do it.